Hey guys, in this video, I wanted to do a first impression and review and comparison between the new Schuyler ESV Quentel and the old Schuyler ESV Quentel. If you don't know, Schuyler has reformatted their ESV text block. And so we're going to be comparing the format. We're also going to be comparing the build quality from the past Schuyler to the new Schuyler. So let's go ahead and turn the camera around and dive into it. Okay, so here we are. Now, these Bibles do not look any different, but what I have here is my daily driver, my ESV Quentel. I bought this in 2021 with the previously formatted ESV text block. And then I've got a brand new Schuyler Quentel in the new ESV formatted text block. Now, as you can tell, both of these Bibles have been bound in black goatskin leather. And I want to compare these Bibles both in the build quality, the material, and of course the innards, the inward text block and the new format. So looking at the build quality to begin with, I will say that this Bible has been used every day for about 4 years now. So you'll see that it is a bit smoother in look. Now, this is also probably due to the fact that every cut of goatskin is going to be a bit different. So I don't want to get into the weeds as far as the texture or the look of the goatskin itself, but more of the build quality. Now, you'll notice with both of these Bibles, they've got perimeter stitching on the outside. That is customary with Schuyler Bibles. Of course, you've got your Jerusalem cross here in the center. One difference that I've noticed in these Bibles is related to the spine. So I'm going to show you guys the spine with the old Schuyler Quentel. You can tell the 6 spine hubs are quite pronounced. They're very pronounced on the spine, and they are a bit raised. And what these spine hubs do is they protect the printing of the wording here. So Holy Bible, English Standard Version, Schuyler Quentel, you can kind of see that's rubbing off just a bit. But basically, when the Bible is opened and rubbing up against the desk or whatever it might be on, the spine hubs protect the wording from getting damaged. Now, looking at the new Schuyler Quentel released in 2024, I will show you the spine hubs. Can you see the difference? The spine hubs do not appear to be as pronounced as the old ones. You can kind of see quite a difference there. Here, they're a lot more, I would say, rigid, whereas here they're a lot more smoothed out. Now, I've got a few opinions on this. If I was to say which one I liked most, it would be obviously the one here on the left, my daily driver, the 2020 version of the Quentel. The spine hubs are just quite a bit more pronounced. On this new one, they're still somewhat pronounced, but nothing compared to the previous edition. And some of my thoughts on why this might be is, number one, Schuyler has been skyrocketing in popularity. And so their supply and demand has increased greatly. And one thought I might have that may not be correct, but it could be the fact that their supply and demand has been so increased that they just can't produce the same quality as they used to. This takes a little bit more work than this general tooling or hubs around the spine. That could be one reason. That would be a negative reason, which I hope that's not the case, because I don't want to see the build quality in Schuyler Bibles go down. The other case could be they're just changing the style of their hubs. These seem to be a bit more decorative than the ones on this, which seem to be a bit more functional. Now, they're not functional in the sense of holding the text block together, but they're functional, as I mentioned earlier, in protecting the spine. These may protect the spine a bit, but they're not going to do as much as the previous model would. Now, another thing I want to point out to you as far as the structure of the Bible itself, I hope I can get this in the picture. You'll notice that the text block on the left is actually quite a bit taller than the new Quentel. Now, it's the same paper, 28 GSM paper, but the formatting is different, and that is what makes this new Quentel thinner than the old. I don't know if you'll be able to pick up a difference here. Probably not. In person, you can tell it's a little bit thinner. Just, putting them side by side again, it's clear that the text block is a bit thicker. Not by much, probably by a few centimeters thicker. So this, for all intents and purposes, is a thinner Quentel. Now, opening it up, you're not going to have much difference here. Goatskin leather cover. You're going to have the calfskin inner liner, the art gilding. The corners are all done the same. Of course, you've got your edge-lined, thicker, end sheet here glossed over. You're going to have the same presentation pages in both of these Bibles, the same publication sheets, all of that good stuff. I am surprised that the Schuyler lays flat at the very beginning of the Bible, so that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and open up to the introduction of the Old Testament in both of these Bibles, and that is where the change will begin to be seen. So here we are. We have got the old format on the left, Old Testament, English Standard Version. You've got this very thin red line separating those two texts. Whereas in the new edition, you've got the Old Testament. It doesn't have the translation, and it's got this decorative art that is throughout the new text block. Now, moving forward to Genesis, we will see quite a bit of difference. Now, let's go with the similarities first. So you're going to have the book title up top, Genesis and Genesis. It's going to be a double column paragraph format in both Bibles with your footnotes at the bottom right or bottom left of the page, depending on which page you're on. And then, of course, your cross references down here at the bottom. So that's the similarities. Another similarity, as I mentioned, is that they're both on 28 GSM paper, both bound by Youngblood in the Netherlands, both printed with paper in France. But here is the differences. So in the old text, you have Genesis with a skinny red line, whereas here, again, you've got that ornamental, decorative design. Also, in the old format, you've got the title of the chapter, The Creation of the World. That's another similarity. But underneath that, at the beginning of the chapter, for chapter 1, you've got the number 1, which is, in a sense, a drop cap 1. Whereas in the new format, you've got a drop cap here, which is a letter, the first letter of the chapter. Now, this is not a great example. Let me flip to a different page that will show kind of the chapter heading. So we'll go to Ezekiel chapter 27 in both Bibles, and I will show you somewhat of a difference. So in the old format here, you've got chapter 27, it's titled A Lament for Tyre. Chapter 27, A Lament for Tyre. But you'll see that the 27 is in drop cap form here, whereas in the new edition, it is a very small number with, again, those ornamental decorative designs on either side. Instead of having the 27 as a drop cap to start the chapter, you're going to have an ornamental drop cap here with, again, the first letter of the first word, the. Now, for me personally, I was kind of skeptical about the drop caps. They had seemed a bit distracting to me. But I have been using this Bible for the past 2 days, been reading it here and there, and it's becoming real for me that this is not as big of an issue as I thought it would be. And I actually kind of quite like the new format. Now, another issue, or not issue, but difference you'll notice, and you may not be able to notice it in the video here, but in the old edition, you've got an 11-point font. In the new edition, you've got a 10-point font. And so this is 1 point smaller than this font. Now, it's not super noticeable, I'll be honest. One of the reasons I love the Quentel is the larger format, of the larger size of the text. It makes it very readable, morning, afternoon, or evening, no matter how tired you are. It's very easy to read. They carry that over into the new Quentel, just minusing the font size by 1 point. Now, something else they did here that you can tell, hopefully, is they have emboldened the text. The text in the new format is more bold than the text in the previous format. And I have heard others review and say that there is also a smidgen increase of line space between each text line than in the old format. Now, I can't visibly tell that per se, but I trust others who have done the research. Basically, they have decreased the font size to 10. They've made the text more bold, which makes it jump out to you in the more on the page, and they've apparently put some more spacing in between each line, which makes it, again, more readable. So as far as readability, it's not any less readable than the old format. Your main changes are going to be the chapter numbers, the drop caps, and then, of course, in my opinion, the build quality, mostly seen in the context of the spine. Everything else is just fantastic in this Bible. You're getting a great Bible. Another addition they've added to this new format is right after the concordance, you have lined notebook paper, which is new for the Quentel main flagship model. The PSQs have had this lined notebook paper for quite a while, but it's never been in a Quentel. In the main size Quentel, you had the concordance going right into the maps, whereas in the new format, you do have just a few pages of lined notebook paper, probably about 6 in all, front and back. So that's helpful. And then, of course, you do have your Bible maps after that. Bible maps are going to be the exact same. You got the map index, and then, of course, some empty end sheets that you can use. I use those for prayers and other such things in my current Bible. So, guys, that is it. All in all, these are the same Bible with old format, new format. Some may like it, some may not. Again, I'm kind of discouraged by the spine hubs on this new format compared to the old format. There's just a visible difference. Again, I'm not too sure if this will grow on me or not. I do plan on using the new format once I wear this Bible out. I'll probably give this Bible another few years before I transition to a new Quentel. But all that being said, I think that in a lot of ways, Schuyler has knocked it out of the park with this one. I think it's a great purchase. I think it's going to be a wonderful tool to use in the years to come. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. You can also find the links to this Bible in the description below. We'll see you guys in the next one.